Hi everyone, Jen Fuentecilla here, Director of Christian Education at First United Methodist Church, back with our Gen Talks. And today I have Sarah Krueger, who is joining me to chat this afternoon. Hey Sarah.
Hi.
How have you been?
Good. Hi. Sorry, Jen. My neighbor just came over and brought us coffee. Can we start over?
Coffee is great. No, let's keep
going.
going.
So sweet. Okay. So our neighbor works at Starbucks, and their little daughter just came and brought us free coffee. So that was really nice.
I love it. I love it. So how has life been for you? Who are you sheltering in place with during this pandemic?
Yeah. So, life's been as good as it can be. I'm living with a roommate. We actually moved here right when quarantine started, so like mid-March. So it's been me and her both working from home, and then I have a friend who has also been staying with us to work from home, and so she'll sleep at home and then come during the days to work here. And it's just been the three of us kind of figuring it all out. But for the most part, it's been good. We're all lucky that we were able to keep our jobs. We're all able to work from home and haven't been affected in that way, which is good. We're all healthy. All of our family members are healthy. So as far as impact due to the disease, aside from figuring out a new way of living, we've all been pretty okay.
Awesome. And share a little bit about what life would look like if we weren't sheltering in place. You have an important role working with a certain population in San Diego. Would you mind sharing a little bit about your role?
Yeah, sure. So I work at the Monarch School, which is a nonprofit school in downtown San Diego, and we serve students who are impacted by homelessness. So all of the students, grades kindergarten through 12th grade, are in some sort of homeless situation, which looks, differently for every family. And so when all of this started, it's hard on everyone, but some more than others. And so our team kind of switched gears and shuffled around and found ways to house families in hotels, families who didn't have housing. Most of our families have some kind of housing and shelter, so that was good. But the ones who didn't, we were able to put in hotels. And so our work has kind of shifted. I'm the volunteer coordinator. I help run the volunteer program, and we don't have volunteers on campus right now. So my job has kind of shifted into keeping the community engaged, and also just making sure we're supplied with items. So we're doing resource distributions every other week to families, things like grocery gift cards, hygiene products, diapers, baby wipes, things that kind of just help keep those basic needs met during a tough time when, some families have lost their jobs and some are in the middle of figuring out housing things. And so there's just a lot that has been impacted by all of this. And so we're just working to, support our families as best as possible. So normally it would be running, school would be running, kids would be in school, summer school would likely have started, and all of that's still happening digitally, just like in every other school district. But we kind of have this added layer of support that we're, have navigated and are doing our best to figure out.
Yeah, absolutely. So for you personally, Sarah, what's been the most challenging and what has given you hope during this time?
Yeah. I mean, the challenging part is everything, right? So the world is kind of falling apart daily. And with all of the, racial tension and the murder of George Floyd, right? And everything that has happened since then has been weighing pretty heavily, and even more heavily for me, I think, than the pandemic. And just connecting with everyone around me. It's kind of all I've been talking about with all of the people in my life. I think that's been the hardest part. And part of that's because I'm fortunate to not be too personally impacted by COVID, aside from working from home. But yeah, really just, us being placed face to face with a lot of, you know, our nation's skeletons and demons and kind of unearthing all of that has been challenging. But it also
Yes.
gives me hope. I think that's the answer for me to both of them, where it's kind of nice that we're in this space where we have to face it, right? At this point, if we don't, it's an active choice. We all have time, right, to learn and to read. Not all of us, you know, there's people who are still working full time, but we have the opportunity to look at it in a way that we never have before. And I think that's part of the reason why there is so much support and so much than has me hope. And watching, you know, the standing up been has been giving me hope for sure.
Yes, after George Floyd's murder, I was devastated, obviously, and heartbroken, and I really needed time to sit still to process what happened. And I'm still processing how this could be for our country and our nation, obviously, and how people have been affected by this around the world. But what has given me hope also is just seeing how many people have been energized, unfortunately, through this, that, you know, they're out there protesting, and they're making their voices heard. And it's really energizing to see young people get involved in just social justice and fighting for equality. And I think I agree that that brings us some hope for the future.
Yeah, definitely. It's
But
inspiring in the midst of.
yes, but there's still lots of conversation to be had. People need to listen and to really find ways to work together versus apart. What would you like to share with our congregation at this time, or lift up in prayer?
I think what I share is just thanks. It's really special to part of a congregation that does care so much about everything going on in the world, and just lifting up. I mean, it sounds cliche, and I know we've said this a million times, but just lifting up all of it, right? That people can learn and feel and connect, that we can let our defenses down, that we can have these really, really important conversations, and you know, just that we continue doing God's work, because I think, you know, I don't think it is God's work. And I just want to share with the congregation that I'm grateful to be part of a family that cares just as much.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for sharing about life during this time. And we look forward to a day when we can talk in person and gather and pray together. And obviously we pray very hard even while we're apart, but we do look forward to that day when we can gather again.
Yes.
Well,
thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Have a wonderful afternoon.
You too.
Bye.